Hello yogis, welcome back to your mat. My name is Krista and this is day 14 of our Spring into Yoga challenge. For today's class, we are going to be doing yoga for the feet, and this class is going to be great to do again in the morning to kind of wake your feet up, but also at the end of your day, if you've had a long day, maybe you were on your feet a lot throughout the day, just to really bring some relaxation in through the feet and in through the lower part of the body. We are going to be doing some massaging and some balancing work for the feet. So having strong feet and ankles are going to be really important because your feet are going to affect your knees, which are going to affect your hips, and it can really affect everything from head to toe. So we want to make sure our feet are nice and strong because we tend to kind of trap them up into our shoes all day, and our feet are one of the only things that are in constant contact with the ground all day, and they're really meant to give that sensory feedback from the ground. So let's get things moving in our feet, and I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, there's always some music linked down below for you. For this class, you will need a block. You can also use a book. It is something that you will be standing on, so just keep that in mind. And then we're also going to be using a ball. Now, I don't have a ball today because I forgot it, but I do have a rolled up sock. It's not as effective, again, depending on how tight your feet are. The sock is going to be less forgiving, but if you need something more, like a yoga ball, tennis ball, or if you can handle a lacrosse ball, is going to be a lot better. So let's get started today. I'm just going to zoom you guys in so you can see. We're going to start with rolling our feet with a ball. Okay, so you're just going to start by placing your foot on top of the ball, and you can start to, I can't really roll the sock here, but as you roll it underneath your foot, then just start to kind of press down into different areas of the feet. Yeah, maybe on the sides. What's really nice is that arch right here. That can feel really good. A lot of people tend to be tight in that area. And if it feels good to just kind of linger in a spot and just kind of move your foot back and forth, side to side. So now bring the ball kind of, if you were to point your toes, there's that little area where all the wrinkles kind of meet. Place your ball in that area. That's our kidney 1 point, and that's a really good area to kind of release tension in the feet, and it kind of relaxes the whole body. So allowing your feet to just kind of drape over. And then start kind of rolling onto the inside arch of the foot and the outside. And then bringing it in through the toes, really spreading your toes and squeezing the ball. Think of gripping your toes. If you can, maybe try to pick up the ball or the sock with your foot. And then onto the heel. Give your heel a little wiggle. And then moving on to the other foot. So again, just kind of rolling it underneath, stepping on any areas that feel a little bit tight or tender. Linger in any areas that feel really nice. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the sound of the floor creaking, but the floors tend to creak quite a bit in this studio. So yeah, bringing it to one area, and then really think of rolling onto the inside arch of the foot and then the outside, bringing it into that liver point again, and then draping your toes over. Allow your foot to be completely relaxed. Keep breathing here. Try not to hold your breath. Bringing some movement back into the foot. And then gripping the ball or sock with your toes. Really squeezing. Trying to pick up the ball or the sock with your toes. And bring it back down. Good job. Now we're going to move the sock off to the side. So we push our sock off to the side. Now we're going to reach for our block and just bring it onto your mat. And step one foot on. And we're going to come to balance onto that block and just allow your opposite leg to just kind of sway. We're kind of just finding the balance in the foot. So notice all the intrinsic movements that the foot makes to keep yourself balanced here as you change directions with the body, and the other leg is kind of counteracting this a bit. And then also notice how that works up the chain, so into the hip, into the shins, the calves. Awesome. And then we're going to switch sides. So now bringing the other foot onto the block, and just that free leg, just allowing it to sway, shifting your weight, your upper body forward, trying to keep your balance. Maybe you bend the knee, touch the opposite toes down. Notice how that feels. Again, paying attention to those feet. It's okay if you lose your balance and fall, just play with it. And you could totally start off small, like small movements, and then work up to bigger movements, really challenging your balance here, but yeah, just really play with it. All right, now come off of that. Now for this next one, you can either do off your stairs or against a wall with your block. So I'm just gonna come closer to the wall here, and you're gonna wanna bring just the balls of your feet onto that block. And then once you do, we're gonna do some calf raises here. So lowering the heels down towards the floor, coming up high onto the toes. Yeah, so we're really strengthening the feet, the ankles, and working the calves here, bringing a nice deep stretch. Maybe see if you can let go if you are holding on. Really challenging that full range of motion all the way down through that deep stretch, and then pressing up onto the toes. So let's do a few more like that. And then come back to neutral, step off of the block, and bring it off to the side. Getting into the ankles a little bit more here. This kind of looks funny, but it does help kind of strengthen the ankles and the feet a little bit more. So bring a nice soft bend into the knees, and think of rolling on to the outside edge of one foot, inside edge of the other. And then just notice how that feels like. And then rotating to the other side. Yeah. Really strengthening our ankles. If you are a hiker or runner, this is going to be really good for you to help maintain balance, to help strengthen those ankles, especially like when you're hiking and you tend to step on maybe some rocks and some things that have to force your ankles to go into different directions. You know that your ankles and your feet are going to be safe. So do that a few more times. And then this is just kind of a fun exercise, but coming to one edge of your mat, coming onto the outer edges of your feet, and just simply walk down your mat, staying on the edges of your feet, and then walking back. And then this one's a little bit more difficult, but your knees might kind of cave in towards each other. But now we're gonna walk on the inner edges of our feet. This will look a little bit funny. Turn and walk back to the top of your mat. Awesome. Now shake it out. And now we're gonna do some foot waves. So just extending one leg out, you can bring your hands behind you just to support you. And with a nice flexed foot, you're gonna start to point the balls of the feet out, or the knuckles of the feet, if you will, and then point the toes, really press that ankle up towards the ceiling. And then pulling the toes back as you keep your toes kind of squeezed in. And then once you get to the top, and then the toes reach back towards your face, and we'll keep doing that. So it's really like a wave movement. Yeah, it's really challenging that foot to point and flex. Reach the heel out. We'll do that one more time. And then come back up to a neutral foot. And we'll switch sides. So coming back to, so once you're on that opposite foot, again, pointing through the balls of the feet first. And then the toes start to point and curl in, press the ankle towards the ceiling, and then pull the top of the foot back, keeping the toes squeezed, and then toes point back towards your face. So keep moving through that. Yeah, and it might take a while to get the hang of. You really kind of have to put like mind-body connection here to get everything moving the way you want to. And then once you do, even if you like film yourself doing it, it'll look like a wave with your foot. So we'll just do one more. Awesome job. So just shake out the feet. So now just coming into a seat, just keeping the feet out in front of you. So we're going to be doing a little bit of toe work here. If it's more comfortable to sit up on a block or a pillow, feel free to do that, or you can sit on a couch. And you just want to really think, bring that brain-mind connection to your feet. And I want you to think of just lifting, keeping your big toes pressed into the ground and lifting all of the other 8 toes off of your mat and then press them into the floor, lift. Yeah, so we're just doing some toe exercises here. And this is really working all the muscles in the feet. Really spread the toes wide. See if you can roll down one toe at a time. Yeah, beautiful. And now press all 8 toes onto the mat and just think of lifting big toes. Yeah, so bring them back down, lift the big toes as high as they can, bring them back down. Beautiful, last one here. Feel free to do that as much as you need to. And then shake out the feet a little bit. The muscles in the feet might be a little bit tight. And now we're just gonna do a little bit of self-massage for our calves to really kind of loosen everything up that we did today. And to do this, come to sit onto your heels. Kind of bring your forehead and the crown of your head onto the floor, just very, very gently, don't put a whole lot of weight into your head, just enough that you can lift your hips up and bring your wrists in between your knees. And then slowly come to sit your bum back down. And just using your wrists as a prop, you're gonna really start to feel that open up the calves. And you can start to sway your hips side to side. So we're also getting into a pressure point here that's really good for low back tension.
And you might even feel this kind of release some muscles in through the feet and the lower parts of the legs. If you want to keep moving down, just simply bring the head back down onto the mat, lower your wrist down a little bit, and then roll. You can also do this with your balls. Sometimes it's nice to just use. Sometimes if you don't have any props handy, this is just another alternative. Again, you can move them further down. The further down you go, the more you might want to lift your head up. And then back even further, just getting into that Achilles tendon and maybe a little bit of the hamstrings as well. And then just gently free up the hands, coming onto all fours, tucking the toes, sit the hips back, bringing a nice toe stretch. And then untucking the toes, bring the hands behind you. Think of lifting the knees off of your mat to bring a nice ankle stretch. And these two poses here are technically yin poses, so you can hold them for long periods of time. But just for today, we're just kind of doing them to loosen up the feet a little bit. And just for this last one, just gently tap your feet onto the mat, just to really loosen everything up from what we did today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little yoga class for your feet. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today. Namaste, and I will see you tomorrow.